Hello everyone and welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, and these decks didn't just win, they crushed the Grand Arena with the best win rates for every single hero. If you're not playing these decks, you're falling behind. Let's get started, but with the S tier decks. These are the best of the best. We've got S tier decks, A tier decks, and B tier decks in this video with full turn-by-turn guides. Kicking it off with Agatha Doom, this one has a 79% win rate in 72 games. And there is straight up a card I do not understand in this list. However, despite that strange card, Cull Obsidian, this one has absolutely been crushing. In fact, changing one card that's not Cull Obsidian, changing Enchantress in this has led this to a 73% win rate in over 100 games. So this one is absolutely just crushing right now. It is a serious contender for the best deck in the mode. This deck needs Scar, nice and simple. You need Scar for it. Cull should probably be a Tuma or Ares. No idea why he's here. Eliath can be leader, and Starbrand can be any other 410 or Surtur himself. Our goal here, a thing we can do early, is we can play Agatha on turn 3. We can start the game off with Doom's 2-cost spell. That's going to make Agatha cost 3. On turn 2, you have 3 energy. You can just immediately play Agatha, get her on the board. That's also going to improve your rate of draw in this deck. You're going to draw better because you have Agatha. Agatha starts in your hand, so does the key card Dr. Doom and his skill. That means that at the beginning of the game, you now have a thin deck. You will see almost everything in this list. What you're really trying to see is Scar, because if you can play Agatha on 3, and then you can play 2 other 10 power cards, if you can manage to play 2 other 10 power cards, that is a 1-cost 6. That means, sorry, 1-cost Scar. That means you can play Scar with a 6-cost card on the last turn of the game, whether that be Dr. Doom, whether that be Eliath, whatever that may be. That is obviously an incredibly powerful place to be. The rest of this list is trying to account for when things don't go exactly in your favor. So we've got Cosmo so that we don't get Shang-Chi'd. We've got Enchantress largely for the problem that can be Starbrand. And with Enchantress, I'm not sure why Cull Obsidian isn't just Typhoid Mary. Again, I don't get it. Juggernaut here gives you a nice way to either clog early or win a lane late. Enchantress stops all the ongoing decks that are absolutely everywhere. Crossbones is a 10 power card. Cull Obsidian is a 10 power card, although again, no ones, I don't get it. But Crossbones is a 10 power card. Let's say Cull is Ares. Cull should really be Ares. Ares just seems like he's always going to hit in this list given the crazy amount of power you have in the list. So let's say that's Ares for our argument's sake. From there, we have Doom. Doom is an okay play on the last turn if you need the extra power, but generally speaking, we're just using Doom to get access to a spell so that we can play our Giganto, our Magneto, and our Agatha early. If we can play, again, we play Agatha, let's say we play Agatha on turn 3, we play Magneto or Giganto on turn 5, and then we dropped a Cull Obsidian or Ares, because, he's in the list, or Starbrand somewhere along the line. That's the 1-cost Scar that can now be played with a Juggernaut and a Cosmo, with a Enchantress, with a Giganto or Magneto, or an Eliath, and that's where this deck really, really sings. Again, you should have the most consistent draws in the game. Dr. Doom here is not very useful. If you want to play Doom, you're probably playing a bad deck. Like, if you're playing a Doom deck for this mode, you're probably playing a bad deck. What Doom wants to do is be run with Agatha and a bunch of really big cards. We're going to see more versions of this deck later in this video if this one's not quite right for you. Turn 1 pass, or you can Doom spell to Agatha. Turn 2 Starbrand or Cosmo, or Agatha. Turn 3 Crossbones, Enchantress, or a 3-drop. Feel free to drop Ares here. Turn 4, we can do the Doom spell plus a 3-drop. That's a good place to Starbrand. Or we can just drop another 410. We can drop Crossbones if we dropped Ares, Ares if we drop Crossbones, etc., etc. Turn 5, we're playing 2 6s if we played the Doom spell, 1 6 if not, and then turn 6, another 6, and the Scar. And that's it. Put out more power than anything, crush people with this list. It's an absolute monster, best win rate in the mode, bar one deck that we'll get to, also in the S tier. Although I will argue that I think Agatha and Doom is the single best combo we've found in this mode thus far. Before we go forward, if you haven't hit that sub button, please hit that sub as we do our best to bring you consistent Marvel Snap content every single day. We never miss a day of Marvel Snap videos. Show some love with that sub. Like and a comment also help out too. All right, next up we have the good stuff list. It is so annoying that this list is good in every freaking game mode in Marvel Snap, but this is our standard control pile. It's running Shang and Enchantress, and it's using the Herbie deck as the shell. Why Herbie? Because Herbie can give us extra energy. Herbie fundamentally, because of his spell, says I've got 1 turn of Wiccan, and this deck would love to be a Wiccan deck, but Galactic Windpool are just too good. See yesterday's top 10 decks in Marvel Snap video for more on that. But outside of that, this deck just puts up a lot of points and is really, really good control at frustrating opponents. 74% win rate in 160 games is absolutely legit. That is crazy high. This one, a larger sample, slightly lower win rate than the previous deck, but is still a monster. You will occasionally miss, well, we'll get to card by card in a minute. First, this needs Fenris, Mercury, Cannonball, Galactic, and Gwenpool. It is the standard good stuff pile. There is a version of this that's almost exactly the same. That is one of the S tier decks on ladder. Again, see yesterday's video. Mr. Fantastic can be Surge or Cable. Gladiator can be Fastos or Sorta, any good 3. Now, Gladiator is a requirement for Fenris Wolf decks if you're not running Shang and Negasonic, but if you're running Shang and Negasonic and Cannonball, you can sort of do without Gladiator. All right, Mercury is here largely for Cannonball, right? There's not a lot of werewolf in the mode, at least yet. So what Mercury does is say Cannonball is now an auto kill to the highest power thing in that lane. Great card, great combo. You can even play them together on turn 6. Mr. Fantastic gives you extra energy and extra power. Playing him on turn 1 is crazy. He's one of the best cards in the mode. I'm very happy that they didn't make him a champion because now he just goes in almost every deck. You're going to see a lot of Mr. Fantastic First Steps, who I think is the best card in the game. Recording this as I got home from seeing the movie, and oh my god, was excellent. Next up, we have Fenris Wolf. Fenris Wolf just plays as a 3 huge. We have Negasonic, Gladiator, Shang-Chi, and Cannonball, so we should be able to get a huge card out of Fenris. Herbie gives us largely extra energy. We're not sad for the Rock for doubling his power, especially if he is hit with a Galactor or Gwenpool. We're not sad for the 2 extra power in other locations. All that stuff is fine. But the 2 extra energy is why he's here, and because we need a champion. Juggernaut is a cheap lane winner at the end of the game. Negasonic can ruin your opponent's life, as can Gladiator. Gladiator just being an absolute house in terms of power. Sometimes you're going to miss with your Gladiator in this mode. You're going to be playing that Agatha deck and you're just going to pull big old stuff, but you've got Shang-Chi, so it's not the end of the world. Enchantress gets rid of ongoings while Shang gets rid of the big power. Galactic and Gwenpool make your lower power stuff have the power to compete. And then, of course, Cannonball is your last kill card. Mr. Fantastic over Herbie over Mercury or Fenris is the turn 1 play. Turn 2 we go Negasonic or another 2. This is a decent Herbie turn. If we played Herbie, we can play the spell here, but I tend to try to hold that. Turn 3 we're going Galactor or Gwenpool. Turn 4 we're going Galactor or Gwenpool over Negasonic Gladiator +2. Turn 5 we're trying to get our Shang or Enchantress out, and we're playing that with a 2-drop. Around now is a really good time, especially if Mr. Fantastic helped out, to get that spell out around turn 4, turn 5. Turn 6, we're looking at Mercury and Cannonball or Juggernaut and Shang or Enchantress. On ladder, this one's a Q break king because it steals games with Shang and Enchantress, but in this mode, when your opponent's set up for Shang, when they can't play around a Negasonic or a Cannonball, there's no incentive for them to run, right? So they just sit there and you get the extra benefit and win the game. This one is, again, once more, an absolute beast of a deck that you should be playing. If you'd like to win a season pass, all you have to do is sub, like, and comment. We will be giving away Mr. Fantastic to someone who comments on a video this week. We'll tell you what comment to leave later this video. Next up, we have the Grand Arena Surfer control featuring Herbie. This is the one deck we featured in the pre-video in our theory crafting video that ended up being the top deck. It is an insane win rate. This one is really simple. It is not totally dissimilar to the previous deck, but it plays a lot different. It's another Herbie deck, so we can tell that Herbie is immediately one of the best heroes. Herbie's spell being incredibly strong. This one has an 80% win rate in 80 games. That's the best we're going to see. I know that's not the largest sample, but an 80% win rate is nothing to scoff at no matter what. We need Monkey for this. Merlin and Fantastic are damn near needed, but Surge, Red Guardian, Gladiator are all acceptable replacements. All right, so Fantastic First Steps is the same thing he always does, right? He's just too good not to run if you're running a general good stuff deck. Herbie can give us extra energy, letting us go really over the top after our Sera turns. Plus, Sera is going to make the Herbie spell cost less. The extra buffs are great from Herbie. That rock is fine on the last turn of the game, not necessarily before, but is a fine play. Just a ton of really good stuff here. Merlin, meanwhile, gives us something to do with the Mysterio clones, gives us something to do with an extra Herbie rock that you don't really want, gives us something to do with a used Shang-Chi or Sera. All that good stuff is really the power of having Merlin in the list. Scarlet Witch is a second location control. The real version of this deck runs Invisible Woman or Gladiator, so Scarlet Witch is apparently better for this mode. Not shocking, a little surprising, but not shocking. Mysterio is amazing, especially if hit by Mr. Fantastic or Gwenpool, because the clones will carry the power buff. It's also +3 to Bishop and +6 to Hit Monkey. Bishop on turn 2 is huge. It's often 11-12 power. You take that from 3s, and Hit Monkey is even bigger because you can play Sera on 4, sort of hold off on stuff, and then go completely crazy on turn 6. Shang and Enchantress are your control cards because things can go over the top. Shadow King helps there too. I also note no Killmonger because there's no one energy turn, so people are running fewer ones. Gwenpool is here largely for Mysterio, but unpredictable power is good. And of course, Sera on turn 4 is completely insane. Sera with no Mobius is completely insane. Sometimes she'll get Enchantress or Rogued or whatever, Super Scrolled, but that's fine, especially because you still get the benefit in this list, and you really, really do need it. Turn 1, Herbie, Fantastic over Herbie over Merlin. Turn 2 is Bishop or a 2-drop. If you don't have a 3 and you have Merlin and a 2-drop, you can play Merlin first so that you can use one of Merlin's spells with Herbie or Mr. Fantastic on 2. But 2 of Merlin's spells aren't really things you necessarily want to play on the Mr. Fantastic or Herbie. So, there's a little bit of positive, a little bit of negative to that kind of play pattern here that we're talking about. From there, we're going to go 2+2 because we have so many good 2s, or Gwenpool on the next turn. If we go Gwenpool, that's totally fine. Turn 4, we're going Sera over Bishop or Spell, or Bishop and Spell or 2-drop over Gwenpool. Turn 5, Sera again over Spell plus Stronger Enchantress. And then turn 6, we're going off. We're trying to play Monkey, Shang-Chi, Enchantress, Shadow King, Mysterio, Polymorphs. All that good stuff to go off. Don't forget to use Polymorph to turn Sera into a 6 on the last turn of the game. 6s are often a lot of power, and you can get that benefit. Also getting your huge, huge discount from Sera. This is probably, like, when I played this list, I felt completely OP. I didn't play it much because ugh, but this one is an absolute monster of a Marvel Snap deck list. Please check out patreon.com/snapjudgments if you're interested in throwing some extra support to the channel. We've got all sorts of goodies over there. Next up, we've got GA Ongoing, 72% in 150 games. There's another version of this that has like 7,000 games. I believe that is that our friend Regis Kilbin is responsible for this. But this is the most obvious and easy to play deck that we have around right now. This is like the straightforward, oh my god, play this. This deck's existence is why Enchantress is in those other lists, although Cosmo can often get you anyway. So this one has a 72% in 150 games, but like 9,000 games with Sam for Claw, well above 60%, like 64%. So this is the last of the S tier decks, I believe. It is a monster. All you need is Carter and Moonstone for it. Goliath can be Sam or Claw, and you can just sort of mix and match along those cards. Goliath is big. Everything here is an ongoing. You're perfectly happy to run him. You need a couple of big things for like your Iron Man lanes. Goliath gives you that. Also really, really good with Moonstone. Mystique is generally trying to copy Iron Man. Copying Iron Man with Mystique is crazy strong. You can double that with Moonstone for an easy lane win. The other thing that you can copy with Mystique is if you get Onslaught on a Mr. Fantastic lane, remember that you can do that on turn 6, right? If you Mystique that Onslaught, you're going to end up with a really, really powerful lane, which is pretty good. Mr. Fantastic is the price of doing business. His spell to discount ongoings, his spell is basically Surge for ongoings, is really great. You do that 100% of the time. That's what this he's here for in this deck. I mean, you have to earn a champion, right? That's why this deck exists. Carter is huge. Again, Carter plus Moonstone equals lane win. Just that simple. Cosmo protects your stuff from Enchantress. Super Skrull is great here. Fundamentally, people are like Sera on turn 4 is so strong. People are running Sera. This is the most played deck. If you get Super Skrull and your opponent doesn't with this combo of decks, you basically win the game. Moonstone is again here for Carter or Mystique. Iron Man is doubling your power and usually just steals a lane. Claw's decent power. Again, Claw can just be Sam if you want the extra ongoing, or Claw can be Claw because it's more of a surprise win. Sera is an amazing card to win to play on turn 4, and then you can just sort of do all sorts of crazy powerful combos. Spectrum buffs the whole board. The card to be most want to buff is Captain Carter, who buffs everything behind her, and then the Iron Man Mystique stuff, which also doubles its buffs. And of course, Onslaught. Onslaught has the obvious target of Iron Man for an easy lane win. Obviously, that works with Mystique as well, or Super Skrull. But the other thing that people often forget about with Onslaught in this deck is on turn 5, turn 4 you can play Sera, on turn 5 you can play Onslaught, and then you have -2 to your whole hand, and you can just completely break the game on the last turn. Brilliant list. Turn 1 Goliath or Reed spell. Turn 2 we're going Carter over Fantastic. Turn 3 Skrull over Moonstone or 2-drop. Turn 4 Sera over Iron Man. Turn 5 Onslaught on Sera or Iron Man, and then turn 6 we go off Mystique to copy Iron Man or Onslaught on Mr. Fantastic, Moonstone for Mystique or Carter, etc. This is a monster of a list. I don't know what else to say. If you get good at figuring out where they're going to Enchantress and time your Cosmo, you're going to win a lot of games. Almost nothing can match the power of this list. The reason that Enchantress is in the other best list is because this is so popular, powerful, and prominent. The A tier. A tier is not significantly worse than S tier, although B tier I think is a fairly big step down. First, we have our second Agatha list, as promised. This one is strange. This one is built around obviously the same thing, right? We get the Agatha power out early, but then we're trying to double Shang-Chi with Grandmaster. Or we're trying to double Shang-Chi with Absorbman and then Grandmaster. Same basic thing for Enchantress. If we're able to do that, we should usually win the game of Marvel Snap. That's fundamentally all this deck really does. It is a simple power spike deck that has that opportunity to it. This one is a 64% win rate in 390 games. Not bad. There is no high series card needed. Grandmaster can be Fantastic Surge, Cable, pick your poison. Galactic can be Gwenpool. Infinity Ultron can be Sasquatch Legion, pick your best 5. And Alioth can be Leader. All right, so Grandmaster is here for Shang and Enchantress largely. You could occasionally hit Doom or an important Infinity Ultron stone, but it's really here to get the double Shang, double Enchantress that can win the game. Negasonic is just a nice power card. It's a nice control card if you can keep Prio, or you can use it to make sure that the opponent can't play something important in the lane. Shang and Enchantress control stuff. Absorbman copy Shang and Enchantress. Again, sometimes we'll copy Doom or an Arrow, an Infinity Ultron stone, but that's not the goal here. Galactus is a simple buff. It's just here because making your stuff bigger is good. Sera, meanwhile, gives you a discount so that you can do sort of whatever you want. You play Sera on turn 4. You can do like something like Doom and Grandmaster on turn 5. Just lots of powerful plays along those lines. Infinity Ultron gives you a bit of unpredictability. Doom is not a play you often want to make, but when you do, you really love him. Alioth turns off all your opponent's combos. Agatha is just like the best turn 2 play in the game for this mode. And then Magneto offers you a really, really great clog on turn 5 that your opponent is going to have a hard time playing around. Turn 1 Pass or Doom Spell. Turn 2 Negasonic or Agatha. Turn 3 Galacta or Shang Enchantress. Turn 4 Sera over Infinity Ultron. Turn 5 a 6 or control cards. You can also play the Doom Spell now if you held it for whatever reason. You can play the Doom Spell with Shang-Chi on turn 5. At that point, you're going to go a 6 and Grandmaster or Observerman Control on turn 6. Yeah, this list is a monster. If you draw the right control cards, this is very hard to beat because no one's playing around 2 and 3 copies of Shang-Chi or Enchantress. Please check out a stream at twitch.tv/pulseglazer. I will be live tomorrow morning to record the podcast and then do a sponsored stream. Please do come hang out. It would mean an awful lot if you were willing to. Next up, we've got a 62% win rate in 930 games. You heard that right? 930 games with this Surfer list. It is genuinely excellent. And completely off the wall. This is our best Human Torch First Steps champion deck. So we've seen Doom decks and Herbie decks and Mr. Fantastic decks, those being the clear tier 1 of this mode. Let's talk about Torch. Torch has been mid, but one way to make Torch really, really good is to play his spell on Wong, right? If you play his spell on Wong, all of a sudden we're starting to cook a little bit, giving double the buff to the top card. That can be Brood or Carter or Absorbman or even Ironheart and win you the game. So that's sort of what this list is doing. It's really cool. 62% in 930 games with nothing really needed. Gwenpool can be Galacta or kinda honestly Forge. Carter can be Shaw. You do want Carter pretty badly though. And Sage can be Wolfsbane. That is a card you play on Wong at the end. All right, so Sera's just going in these lists, right? Because Sera on 4 is so good. Sera with no Mobius is so good. Ironheart is here. You can play Ironheart early, but generally speaking, what you'd like to do is have Ironheart hit Carter and Torch, ideally on top of a Wong. Sage is amazing power on Wong on the last turn of the game. That's all she's here for. You play the Sage on the Wong, you play the Surfer on the Wong, you win the game. Brood gives you a nice simple power lane. Obviously buffed big by Surfer, buffed big by Gwenpool. Carter is yet another buff. Really good to be hit on board by Ironheart, unlike Brood, because, hitting one Broodling doesn't do anything. But if you get an Ironheart on there, a Surfer on there, your Carter just spikes power. Likewise, all the buffs of Gwenpool, you're likely playing Torch on turn 2, right? But the buffs of Ironheart are legit. The buffs of Surfer are legit, especially because you have Surfer and you have Wong and you can double Surfer, you can double Ironheart, and really, really get Torch scaling up huge. Rogue is here because we saw that ongoing stuff, right? We can't really afford Enchantress with 3/4s, but Rogue is great here. Juggernaut gives us a bit of control. Say that Onslaught doesn't go in the right location. Surfer, again, Brood, Carter, Torch are your hits. Doubling Surfer with Wong is amazing. We're happy to double Sage or Ironheart as well. We can double Absorb Men or Gwenpool. So we can do things like Wong on 3, Gwenpool on 4, Sera on 5 without too much trouble, or we can go Wong on 2 on 3, Sera on 4, Gwenpool and something else on 5, Gwenpool and we played Sera, right? So Gwenpool is 3, which means Gwenpool and whatever the hell else we want on turn 5 in order to win. Sera is a discount and Gwenpool is a ton of power. Turn 1 pass, turn 2 Torch, turn 3 Wong over Gwenpool, turn 4 Sera over a 3, turn 5 cards on Wong when Ironheart and Torch spell, turn 6 go off. So Torch needs to be a combo card to really work in this mode. There's a lot of power here. You saw that ongoing deck, right? There's a lot of control here. You saw the Shang, you saw the Enchantress. We really need to find ways to go over the top if we're going to compete in this mode, and that's what this version of Surfer does. That's why it has been so freaking crazy successful. The B tier. This is a borderline A tier deck. This is the best version of Destroy, and yes, it does run Sabretooth and Wolverine. I don't know, I didn't make it, but has the best stats, 61% and 150 by like a fair amount for Destroy. This one needs X23. Kid Omega can be Deathlock or Hulkbuster. You'll be okay because you have the Carnage spell to make sure you have enough Destroy. Deadpool doesn't really have buffs here, so you're destroying Deadpool largely to get the extra destroy, unless you see him on 1 and can get him destroyed every turn. He doesn't get or have an extra buff like location or whatever. He doesn't usually get big enough to like be completely crazy. However, it's worth remembering if you play Deadpool and destroy him on turn 5 with Kid Omega, that's obviously the biggest he'll be. Kid Omega will get the doubled Deadpool power. It's the same thing as how Dracula works with Apocalypse. X23 is just extra energy. Extra energy is huge here. You can do things like null on turn 4, right? Because on 5 you'll have 6 energy, so you'll have 6 energy on turn 4 if you get X23 killed. So if you can null on 4, you can Zola on 5, and then you can still like do things like Shang or Venom on 6, Shang or Death on 6. Crazy power. X23 is required. Kid Omega is just our extra destroy. Kid Omega and Venom keeping the power is big. Carnage is amazing. The spell for Carnage being extra destroy is great. We keep Wolverine because he's just a lot of power all over the board. Killmonger is a great way to get that extra energy from X23, especially if a lane gets a little complicated. We've seen a decent amount of Cosmo. Sabretooth is an 05 that you can destroy every turn is sort of how Null gets big along with Shang-Chi in this list. It works better than you think. He's not good on ladder, but with extra energy, if you can just drop him on turn 2, suddenly he makes a lot more sense. Things want to go over you if you don't see Null. Shang stops that. Don't be afraid to Zola Shang to Zola Venom. Null is often the biggest thing, as all these decks are doing these cute combo things. Null just says, okay, but I'm 60 power and I don't care. And then Death is just a free 12, and we're happy with that. Turn 1, Kid Omega over Deadpool and X23. Turn 2, Deadpool and Carnage over Wolverine and a 1 over Sabretooth. Turn 3, we're going to destroy number 2. Turn 4, we're going Venom and Carnage spell. Sometimes we can play Null if X23 was destroyed. Turn 5 is Null or Last Deadpool Destroy. We can also Zola Venom or Null. And then turn 6, Death, Shang, Deadpool, some combination thereof. Win the game, enjoy yourself, have a great time. Tons of power, very cool list. You gotta love it. Hey, I should be back to writing up for Marvel Snap Zone in the next few days. Make sure you're there for my articles, pretty please. All right, next up. This one is a 75% win rate in 75 games. This is probably the most distinct list in the video. It's another Herbie list, and I know we've covered Herbie, but the caveat to that is 75% win rate, and this one's real different. This one is abusing the crap out of Namora. It's actually fairly similar to that Surfer list, right? Except we're using Namora and Ironheart with Odin in order to get as much power around as possible. Really, really, really cool idea, though. 75% win rate, 75 games. Namora, Cannibal, and Mercury are your required cards. Jeff can be Nightcrawler. Lasher can be Mr. Fantastic. Although Lasher's crazy good, he doubles the power while still taking Namora buffs. Sage can be Wolfsbane. Alright, so Lasher gets buffed, ideally by Namora, ideally twice by Namora, and that fundamentally doubles his power when he gives negative. There's almost no Luke in the mode. Mercury is a movable card, so if you don't see that Lasher, same thing for Jeff. If you don't see that Lasher, you have this movable power card that you can put some power on with extra cards, which is a good place to be. The other thing that Mercury offers, obviously, is a cannonball for anything you can't go over the top of on the last turn. Herbie is here for his spell. His spell is good. We want extra energy. We're happy. We don't super want the rock, but we can buff Herbie enough fairly often that his double spell does matter. Ironheart is really good with Lasher, really good with Herbie, really good with Captain Marvel. That's what it's here for, especially if played on the Wong or played with Absorbent Man. Sage is amazing at Wong at the end of the game, amazing with Odin. It is how you win that lane. Wong gives us all the energy, all the doubles we want to make the cards big enough to win locations. Absorbing Man is here. We can copy Sage. We can copy Namora. We can copy Ironheart. Enjoy yourself. Very powerful card in this list. Captain Marvel is if we buff it, it can just go wherever it needs to win the game. Namora is our main buff card because its buff is so big. It's the biggest regular buff for one card that we can get, so we run that. Cannonball is our emergent break in case of emergency, and then Odin is our way to double the things we're doing in powerful ways. Lasher over Herbie, Mercury, or Jeff on turn 1. Turn 2 is generally another 2 over Ironheart. Turn 3, we're going Wong over 2+2. Turn 4, if we got Namora, we're going Namora. If not, especially after Wong, we're going like an Ironheart and a 2-drop. Turn 5, Absorb Man, Odin, Sage, Ironheart on top of Namora lane. And then turn 6 is the same as 5, or we can do Cannonball and Mercury together. Bada bing, bada boom. Enjoy this. I can't. This is a totally unique list. I gotta play this. I'm dying to play this. I will be playing this tomorrow on stream. Tomorrow on stream means about, I believe, 9 to 10 p.m. for you on the East Coast of the United States. Earlier if you're on the West Coast. Come check out Snap Judgments League. We are starting our tournament season again in August, so get ready. August is right around the corner. We will be doing King of the Hill tournaments leading into the next season of Snap Judgments League. All right. This is the best thing for steps with a 66% win rate in 55 games. That's pretty damn good. There was no larger sample thing that was really doing work. Although tomorrow's video will be decks from totally unique decks from a bunch of top players for the mode. If you're intrigued by that, so I got some top players decks. We'll take a look at. This one, Echo, every deck, and Enchantress, every deck has to have an answer to that stupidly prominent ongoing deck. But outside of that, this is just saying, what if I put up 10 million points? Can you stop it? Maybe not, right? Man, the thing is, if played on turn 4, is a 20 power card, which means it's infinite, so you don't need infinite. All right, 66% in 56 games for this one. We need Evo and Scar. Red Hulk can be Infinite or Giganto, and Bruce can be Ross or Armor. Sunspot is great. He just sits there grabbing extra power. Sunspot, Bruce, and Cyclops, along with Hulk, all grab these little bits of extra power and turn your extra energy into a value. Echo and Enchantress are here because the ongoing deck is so prominent. Bruce sits there being a 2-1, but very often a 2-12 in this deck, which is awesome because Scar is here and making Scar cheaper is good. Cyclops also ends up playing as about a 3-8. You can start to get him out on turn 2 in a pinch. Super Skrull, again, that ongoing deck is so prominent. High Evolutionary is the cost of doing business. The Thing is just keyword big. You play him on turn 4 reasonably often, then skip turn 5, and he's just humongous. Then we have Red Hulk and Hulk as our big cards, and She-Hulk as our, oh my god, we skipped turn 5, and now we can drop Red Hulk and She-Hulk type shenanigans. If we didn't skip turn 5 and we played a Thing on, if we played Bruce transformed, Thing on 4, Red Hulk on 5, then we can play like a Hulk and Scar on turn 6, or She-Hulk and Scar on turn 6, which seems like it's a lot of power. You can also do the same thing with Enchantress. Sunspot over Bruce on 1. Turn 2, Bruce over Cyclops. Turn 3, Cyclops over Skrull, unless Skrull is going to win you the game. Turn 4, Thing. Turn 5, Pass if She-Hulk. Hulk or Red Hulk if not. And then turn 6, Scar and Enchantress, Red Hulk or Hulk. This one's kind of crazy. I think it's really good. I think the Thing is one of the weaker cards for this, but he's also one of the most fun. So I've been having an absolute blast with Thing first steps in this mode. See, our question, if you'd like to win the season pass, is what's the best deck in this mode that I didn't cover? This is a pure statistical video, but what is your favorite deck to play right now outside of the auto build ones, which we covered 2 days ago in this metagame? All right, next up we have Moleman. This is our lowest win rate deck. This would actually be C tier, not B tier, but this is the highest win rate Moleman deck, and we've covered every other one of the champions. So this is the one I featured in the video, and it's got a ridiculously bad win rate, but it is the only place that Moleman has at least a positive win rate. A 53% win rate in 70 games. Victoria Hand, Frigg, and Misery are required. Fantastic can be Surge or Gladiator. Iron Patriot can be Sentinel. Ugh. All right, again, we're dropping like 11 points in win rate from the other list. It's just the Moleman decks have been the worst. All right, so the hood is here because you can either send it over with Viper, board space is a premium, or you can misery it away and get multiple demons. Demons are great. They're a little less great in this mode, but they're great. Quinjet lets you play Moon Girl and have an insane amount of extra energy. Quinjet also makes the spell from Moleman cheaper, also both positives. Mr. Fantastic will often make that spell cheaper and also just gives you buffs. Shadow King is good but not great here. Some decks it really crushes, some it doesn't. Iron Patriot, if you can win it, is amazing. Mirage will often give you the opponent's spell, which is sometimes amazing and sometimes kind of nothing. Like the Doom spell doesn't do anything for us. Victoria Hand buffs the whole board. We would like to double Victoria Hand with either Moon Girl or copy it with Frigga. Moleman gives us some extra one drops. Again, really good with his spell. Viper sends over generally speaking Hood, but don't be afraid to send over a used Iron Patriot, Mirage, Shadow King if you can get a clog. Moon Girl is trying to copy Victoria Hand and Demons at sometimes Shadow King as a rule, and then Misery gives us extra demons too. Mr. Fantastic over Mirage over Victoria Hand if Frigga over Iron Patriot over ones. Turn 2 Frigga if hand, but usually 2+1. Turn 3 Misery if Mirage or Hood. Moonstone if good targets or 2+2. Turn 4 Moleman and generate cards. Turn 5 last chance to Misery or Moon Girl plus Moleman spell. And turn 6 is all your generated cards. Moleman spell is really cool, but it's not very good. It probably has to do both to really compete in power with the other. It can't be -1 or +2. It has to be both if it wants to compete. Let's make Moleman great. Let's do it. Outside of that, he's easily the worst champion. We've covered a deck from every champion, so if you're interested, please check out patreon.com/snapjudgments as we end up this video. Again, I should be live, I don't know, 10 to 12 hours after this video goes live. Check out Jonesy Snap 22 on Patreon. On YouTube. Happy Gleason, Mandatory Burnout, Irregardless, LAB, Ink Iron Frozen, Hota Navarrete, Prime Ryan, Ryan Burke, Ryan Wood, Snap, Ren Wrench, Gopher Kev, Keldor, Keratix Lee, Koi Ray, Kazushi, Archangel 3K, Black Dahlia, Perfrost, The Goat Seeker Code, Hollowed, Synth, Fadik, Absolute Shaman, Nightmare, Dirty Casual, Mr. Kerfuffle, Cables, Ginger Prime, Philly, Haplo, Kenny Loggins of the Jane Zone, The Biz, Black TV 23, Extra V, and Skippy G, Jessica Gamble, Slush Death, The King of Bros, The Great Kazoo, Werewolf, Kevs Yoda, Clam, Colonel Foreman, Rob Sullivan, David G. Wingfield, Steven, Brian Kaufman, Tristan H. Martin, Jason B, Mr. Craig Sterry, Matt B, Corwin, John Q, Jimmy McQ, Yist Out, ACH, One Big Man, Milkman for Reals, Cactus Jack, Reapster, Steve O, Yo Marco, Ted Bro, Good Bro Joe, Bickety Boom Bot, Bricks 2 Click, Green Goblin, Unibot B2, Flan 56, Spectrum Mix Food, Only Fox, Matt H, DJ Mike Hijacks, Don't Freaking Flex, Nick the Greek Geek, Toxic Soul King, Cedric 74, King of Canada, JJ, Denman Falcon, Fafler, Newman, Two Ties, Great Learners, The Parking Tucker, and of course Gunny T. The T stands for This Video Is Now Over. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later for more Snap Take. Peace.